Welcome to the Schoology training for Discovery team leaders. During this training session, we want to walk you through some of the features of Schoology that you'll be able to take advantage of to administer the Discovery training for each of the students on your team. The first thing you'll need to do is go to the website, and our custom domain for the website is elearning.govalor.com. elearning.govalor.com. Okay? And once you get there, it'll ask you to log in with your Google Apps account. So you and all your students already have Google Apps accounts, and so you don't need a new username and password to remember or anything like that. You can just log in with your normal Google Apps account. So once you're logged in, you accept the login. You'll see, most of you I think will see mostly a blank screen here. What we've done is we've gone ahead and populated your courses both with students and with materials. So if you click on the Courses tab, you should see a Valor Discovery course for your specific team. So for example, I have the Kenya team right here. So if I click on that, you can see that there's a lot of materials already created for that course and pushed out to it. So there's a couple things that we need to do for these courses in order for students to be able to access the materials. The first one is we have to make the materials available. So let me go ahead and click on, let's go to part 2. Let's go to section 1. Okay. And I'm going to choose, say, going to servant learners. One of the things you notice, this little puzzle piece with the pencil sign, that means that that is a quiz for them to take. There's other types. Let me see if I can find one. Under support, you see this is different. It's not the puzzle piece. This means it's just a page. There's just reading there. There's not an actual question for them to answer. Okay, so if I picked section 3, sharing the good news, these are both quizzes for them to take. Now what I need to do with the quizzes, and I need to make them available to the students. Just because we make a quiz in Schoology doesn't immediately make it available to the students. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it right here. And you'll have to do this for each of the items. The first thing you see are the questions that are there, and these are the questions that the students are being asked to answer. Okay, so I'm going to go to Settings. And here you'll see this is the text that they are supposed to read and then respond to. For availability, I'm going to go ahead and change it to available now. So you'll have to go to each resource or each quiz and change it to available now, and then you can scroll down and hit Save Changes. Okay, so now sharing the good news is available to the members of my team. I'm going to go ahead and go back here now that I've saved it. The second thing I want to do, besides making it available, is I want to actually set a due date and tell them this is assigned to you and you need to have it done by this specific date. So I'm going to go over to this gear icon and hit Edit. When I hit Edit, now I can access this due date right here. So let's say that I had a team meeting on February 16th, and I wanted everybody to complete this by February 16th. Well, I'm going to put that date in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. All right, so now you'll see this has a due date of Sunday, February 16th, 2014. I'm going to do the same for this next one. I'm going to click on it here, go to Settings, and say, let's make it available now so students can see it immediately. Save that change. Okay. Go back to that folder, sharing the good news. I'm going to click the gear icon and choose Edit. And now I can give a due date. Let's say I want both of these due at that same team meeting. So both of them due on the 16th, and I'll hit Save Changes. Okay, so now both of these you can see are due on Sunday, February 16th. Now for the students, when they go to elearning.govalor.com, they'll log in with their Google Apps account as well. And what they're going to see looks something like this. Okay, so here's the student screen. This is a sample student right here. And you can see February 16th, I set the date for those two items. So all they have to do is click on that. It shows them the text that they're supposed to read. And then once they read it, they can hit Begin Test Quiz. And they can take it as many times as they like. They can stop and come back to it. There's no limits on that. On a normal quiz, if you're given it in your class, you might want them to only take it once or maybe twice or something like that. Here, there's no limits on how many times they could take it or whether they can go back and change their answers if they need to. All right, so that's what the students will see. It's really nice and intuitive. On their home screen, they'll see everything that's due, and it'll be ordered by the due date. So whatever's due first will show up first, and then on down through the list. Okay, so that's how they'll see the training materials. You just need to go in and make them available, and then set a due date. And then once you do that, then you can view the results. So I just now made that available, so I'm not going to see any results there. But if I go to, for example, this one, which I previously made available and I had my sample student take, you can see here's sysadmin, that sample student. Here's their attempt. So I'm going to go ahead and view attempts. And if I click on view by question, I can see the responses to each question. So for example, let's click here. So here's what sysadmin said. And if you had more students, you could look at all of their answers to each question. Okay, so I can go back and say, okay, what were the responses to question 2? You can see all the listed responses. So here's their answer. What is the main desired result of a discovery experience? That's question 2. And sysadmin said this. Okay, you can also add a comment back to them, saying good answer. You could add a comment saying, you know what, you probably need to think about it some more, or maybe actually read it, or whatever, or you can just view it there and then refer to it during your team meeting. Okay, so that's how you can view the results really quickly. It's easy to view by question and then see each student's responses there. I only had one student take it as a sample student, so you only see one here, but you could see many more if you had more team members taking it. Okay, so that's how you can get to the materials and use the materials that are available to you. They should already be there, like we said, and your courses should already be created and populated with students if your team is all set. A couple other things that Schoology is really nice for is to communicate with students. So you've got all your training materials, but you can also use it as a communications platform. There's a couple ways you can do that. The first way, if I'm in my courses, so I just want to make sure I'm in my course, I'm still under Valor Discovery Kenya, I can click on updates right here. Okay, so let's say I wanted to send out an update that was, don't forget the team meeting next Sunday. Okay, and I can go ahead and post it to this course. What the students see when they log in then, if I refresh this, is now they see this update. Okay, and they can actually, it's very much like Facebook, the way the interface works. They can make a comment and insert a comment like, what time was the meeting again? Okay, and you can have this communication go on. And in fact, it's not just the team leader then that can respond to that. Any of the team members, it's like a Facebook thread. Since they're all included on it, they can all get it. And in fact, if you install the Schoology app, you can get notifications of these. So I recommend, they have an iPhone, an Android, an iPad app. So you and your students can both get those apps, and then you can get notifications about updates that go out to the course. All right. So I can go back to mine, and if I refresh it here, I will see, oh, sysadmin left this. Oh, it's at 4 o'clock. And we can have this conversation back and forth. It's very much like Facebook, very intuitive to do these updates and comments and things like that. And it gets information out quickly. The other thing you can do for communication, I'm going to go back home here. And there's an app that you can install. Let me show you how to install it. It might already be installed for you, but just in case it's not. If you go to the App Center and see Remind 101 and hit Install App, okay? I've already installed it, so here's Remind 101 for me. And I click on Remind 101. It might ask you to sign in or create an account. I recommend using the same credentials as your Google app, so I'm going to go ahead and log in here. If you don't have an account yet, you can sign up here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. Okay, and so now what I can do, what Remind 101 does is it allows you to text your students without them knowing your cell phone number, without you necessarily knowing theirs either. But it's just a quick way to send out a text blast. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Add a New Class. And I'm going to call it Valor Discovery Kenya. Okay. For my class code, I'm going to go Kenya 2014. 2014. Oh, it's already taken. Bummer. So I'm going to try Valor Kenya. Valor Kenya. Okay, so whatever your class code is, try to make it something simple and descriptive. You ideally want to make it really short. So I'm going to go ahead and say add. Okay, so now you've got a phone number and a code for them to text to this number. So the number is 571-384-4537. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how they can sign up here. It's really pretty simple for them to sign up. They can take out their phones and enter the message. And let me demonstrate that really quick. So if I got my phone out and I got a new message, so I'm on my iPhone here, I type in the number 571-384-4537, and the code was at Valor Kenya. Okay, at Valor Kenya, and I hit send. Okay. It tells me, thanks, Mark Gomez. As a member of Valor Kenya, you will receive all of Mr. Gomez's Remind 101 notifications. Reply help for commands. And if you do that, if you reply help, it'll give you commands on how to unsubscribe or stop getting messages if you want. And this is handy to have both your students and your parents go ahead and do that. And so what I can do now, you can see here, if I refresh this page, it should show me that now I have a student enrolled. Okay, so Valor Discovery Kenya, there's my class. Here's a subscriber. Mark Gomez is a subscriber. All right. If I wanted to send out a text blast, and you can have everybody subscribe, parents and students, and say, don't forget the team meeting this weekend. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and send that out. Say send. Okay. And what that's going to do is it's going to send a text blast to each of those students. And if you look here, I just got it from Mr. Gomez, don't forget the team meeting this weekend. Okay, so anybody that's subscribed is going to get that text blast. Really neat way to communicate with your students. You can also get the Remind 101 app on your phone and be able to send messages as long as you have an internet connection. So if you think about it, if you're out in the field, it might be unlikely that you have cell service, but if you can get an internet connection from like your phone, just connecting to Wi-Fi or from a computer, you can send a text blast to all of your subscribers, which would include students and parents, saying, hey, we just landed, or we've arrived, or check the blog, we just posted, things like that. So really neat way to keep in communication. The last thing I want to show you for this really quick, something that I think you might be able to take advantage of, is online discussions. Let me go back to Valor Discovery Kenya. Okay, so here I'm under the Materials tab. I'm going to go ahead and say Add Materials. And I want to add a discussion. You can see there's a lot of different materials you can add, and feel free to use those as much as you'd like. But if you want them to engage in some kind of online discussion, I know sometimes it's hard. You have your team meetings once a month, but it'd be nice to engage them outside of that. Well, go ahead and add a discussion here, and for the title, I made one earlier that was Culture Shock. I'm just going to remake it. Culture shock, and put a quick question. What elements of your culture do you think you will miss the most? Okay, I'm going to put a due date on it. I want them to go ahead and respond to this before our meeting on February 16th, right? If you wanted to enable grading, you could assign points to their discussion. Really neat for classroom use. But I'm going to go ahead and hit create. Okay, and so now if you go back to the student tab and refresh it, you can see here's the one I created. So if they click on that, What elements of your culture do you think you'll miss the most? And they can respond to it and start this discussion. And students can go back and forth and ask each other questions or submit comments. They can even add an audio or video recording. They can add a resource, like if they've type something up in Google Docs, they can then just attach it there, or say, here's a link that I saw, this is a funny video about first world problems or something like that, or a file. They can add that into the discussion. So you can have online discussions that students engage in, and again, they can do it on their phone through the Schoology iPhone app or Android app. They can do it on a tablet with the Schoology iPad app, or they could do it on their computers just in a browser at elearning.govalor.com. All right, so those are the basics of Schoology and some of the ways that you'll be using it as a Discovery Leader this year. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you're interested in using it for more classroom use, we'd love to see more adoption. I can assist you with that. Thank you very much.